Ripker is the doctor of a new book called Cannabis for Chronic Pain, a proven prescription for using marijuana to relieve your pain and heal your health. Doctor, you are a holistic doctor in Colorado. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you prescribe medical marijuana or medical cannabis for all sorts of reasons?
Well, I make recommendations. They're not prescriptions. And based on that recommendation, the patients are able to obtain a license to use medical marijuana.
But this is here. But this is
the medical dispensary and obtain the herb.
Now you're in Colorado, so why do you have to prescribe it? Why can't someone just go to one of these legal places and get their own marijuana?
Well, that's a good question. They can, but in the medical dispensaries, you're able to obtain products that are more medicinal, that have higher levels of cannabidiol, CBD, which is a cannabinoid that is highly medicinal and very effective for treating chronic pain. On a more practical level, it's cheaper. The sales tax is exorbitant on the recreational marijuana. So, and you have a much more knowledgeable bud tenders. The employees at the medical shops are able to advise their patients and customers that on how to most effectively use cannabis as a medicine.
Gotcha.
And you don't have that in the people that are going to the recreational shops are mostly interested in getting high. And the products are higher in THC, the psychoactive component of marijuana. The CBD is not psychoactive and is more effective for treating pain. And chronic pain is probably, by far, the most frequent use of medical marijuana. Well over 90% of the 7,000 medical marijuana patients I've seen over the last 6 years have been using it for treating chronic pain. And I'm talking about the most common chronic pain conditions that Americans are confronted with. I mean, arthritis and low back pain, migraine headache, fibromyalgia, neuropathy, even menstrual pain is highly effective. The cannabis is quite effective for that as well.
Doctor, Doctor, when you suggest medical marijuana and they go and get the medical grade marijuana, does it? First of all, do you suggest they smoke it, and do you get a sort of high from it because it's medical marijuana?
The answer to the first question is no. I recommend smoking. Smoking is really not healthy, and it's not good for your respiratory tract. And in fact, in the smoke, you have toxins which can be both carcinogenic and as well as contributing to more inflammation. And inflammation underlies in most of these chronic pain conditions. So for people who are interested in quick relief, and inhaling is the most effective way to use it to get a quick effect. I recommend vaporizing. And the vaporizers are really like miniature ovens. You use the flour and you grind it up, and you put it in a little chamber in a handheld device, and you set the temperature at 375, just like your oven. And unlike your oven, this heats up to 375 within 10 seconds, and you're ready to inhale. And with 2, 3, 4 inhalations, you'll have pain relief, and significant pain relief, within 3 minutes.
One of the side effects, do you get high?
With some of the products, you do, yes. I just mentioned that the cannabidiol, the CBD, which is a terrific pain reliever, works well by itself, but it's even more effective when it's combined with THC, the psychoactive component. And when you combine the two, you do get high to some extent, but it's really minimized. The CBD mitigates the high to some extent, as well as the pain. So it's not an unpleasant or out of control, or people are. Some people are adamant about, I don't want to get high. Well, then you can just use CBD in a variety of ways. CBD is available in a tincture, the liquids with a dropper. It's available in capsules, tablets, and in a transdermal patch. And all of these other methods last much longer. When you inhale with a vaporizer or smoke, it just lasts for 2 to 3 hours. When you do a tincture and you put it under your tongue, and it's absorbed directly into your bloodstream through the mucous membrane under your tongue, it lasts for 4 to 6 hours, so twice as long as inhalation.
Yeah.
And when you do an edible or swallow a tablet, it can last 6 to 8 hours.
Doctor,
So,
Doctor, the book is called Cannabis for Chronic Pain. You're in Colorado. There's medical marijuana legal in Colorado. You make the recommendation, the suggestion. They go and get whatever they have to get. They go to the dispensary. They get it. They use it. Is that covered by insurance?
it is not. No.
Is opioid pain relievers in Colorado, if a doctor were to make a suggestion, go to the pharmacy, get your Oxycontin, get your Percocet, get every one of the myriad of medical-grade heroin products out there for pain relief, is that covered by insurance?
Yes, it is, unfortunately. And, I probably don't have to tell you, we're in the midst of a serious opioid crisis in this country. I mean, there are 150 Americans dying every day from opioid overdose.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you quickly about the NFL.
I'm presenting a safe and effective alternative to this opioid problem.
Yeah, I want to talk about the NFL for a minute because we've had a number of NFL players come out recently and talk about how the NFL is more than happy to prescribe opioids for their pain, but shy away from and discourage medical marijuana. And some of these former players are speaking out saying that's ridiculous. Give us the marijuana. It's safer. It's less invasive. It's better for us. And it won't cause all the side effects.
And that's correct. And all the NFL Players Association is asking for is CBD, which I mentioned earlier. cannabidiol is not psychoactive. And there's no reason in the world. It's perfectly safe. There's no downside. And it's not even the most effective way to use cannabis for chronic pain. And these guys are they're in constant pain.
Who's
that's
blocking
all they're
this?
asking for.
Who's blocking
it's
this?
It's really a sad state of affairs.
Who's blocking this? Why is this so hard to get done? Everyone talks about, I don't want the government between me and my doctor. The doctor should be able to prescribe. I should be able to choose my doctor. Why do we say all those things, and yet we don't allow medical marijuana all around the country?
Well, you've heard the saying, follow the money. And you'll find that medical marijuana is a huge threat to the pharmaceutical industry. When you look at CBD, which I've been mentioning as a strong pain reliever, it's also an anti-inflammatory. It's a muscle relaxant. It reduces anxiety. It helps with sleep. It's been shown to kill cancer cells, and it's widely known now that it's very effective for treating seizures. Well, there's not a pharmaceutical drug in the world that can do all of those things, and it's a viable substitute, and I've used it in many instances this way for the benzodiazepines, for anxiety, for sleeping pills, the antidepressants. It's quite amazing, the variety of therapeutic benefits that cannabis has. And what's interesting is that if you look at the history here, for nearly a century, from the mid-1800s until 1937, cannabis was a key ingredient in the remedies for many of the common chronic pain conditions in this country. Migraine headaches and arthritis and menstrual cramps. I mean, this all changed during and after the Mexican Revolution between 1910 and 1920, when we had a huge influx of Mexican immigrants who brought with them their food and customs and their marijuana. Well, we never heard the word marijuana in this country. It was cannabis. And the hemp that was a part of the cannabis plant was an inexpensive and durable source of to make paper.
Yeah,
it was a substitute for lumber.
Doctor,
William Randolph Hearst.
Doctor, I'm short on time. Doctor, come on. I got to ask a question here, and I'm short on time. The book is Cannabis for Chronic Pain. I also want to get a plug-in for your book, right? Cannabis for Chronic Pain, bookstores everywhere. Last question for you, Doctor, and please keep it short because I'm short on time here. And that is this.
All right, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. I know. I wanted to get the answer, but I got to jump in here. Last question for you, and that is, there are people screaming at the radio right now saying, you know what, you allow medical marijuana, and then my kid's going to have access to marijuana, and I don't want to make it any easier for him to find any drugs. This medical marijuana is just a ruse so that marijuana can become legal and recreational in every state. What do you say?
I say education is really the key. I mean, that's really the only way we can prevent the kids from using it. I mean, it's when you talk about the teenagers who start getting high in high school, they still have a developing brain, and that's really the major downside of of marijuana use. The studies on there's an increased risk of schizophrenia in late adolescence and early 20s. Your brain is still developing into your mid to late 20s, and the marijuana, the THC in particular, the psychoactive component, can interfere with the proper development of your brain. And you're at higher risk for developing schizophrenia, and we're seeing more of that all the time. It's really a sad state of affairs. I mean, and the only way I know to prevent it is with good education. And I think a lot of young people are getting the message. It's just not a good thing to do on a daily basis.
The book
and
is
that's the problem.
The book is called Cannabis for Chronic Pain, a proven prescription for using marijuana to relieve pain and heal your health. Dr. Rav Ivker, bookstores everywhere as well as Amazon.com. Cannabis for Chronic Pain. Doctor, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
928.